It's not always easy to step outside your comfort zone and go to places you've never been before, to do things you've never done before. And oftentimes, the reward is greatest when the risk is highest. But when taking the leap helps you experience something that you love in a whole new way, well, then it's worth it. No matter the risk.
Puta madre. You fall.
Okay, I think we go to the left of it.
Our names are Cora and Jose. We are on a mission to travel Alaska to Argentina, seeing and celebrating the Americas through the lens of our art. The thing is, Alaska is a hard place to leave, and so we have spent 2 years exploring this wild land. One cannot fall in love with Alaska without also falling in love with glaciers. Throughout Season 1, we have danced across the last frontier, coming face to face with one river of ice after the next. We have flown over them. We have watched them calve into the sea, and we have floated among the icebergs they create. In the dead of winter, we skated across wild ice to visit one, and we hiked across the face of another. The one thing we have never done is climb a glacier. And so it is no surprise that here, at the end of our time in Alaska, we find ourselves once again nudged up against the edge of an icy giant.
That's pretty cool.
This is Kenicott Glacier, a true wonder and force of nature. Unlike every other glacier we have visited in Alaska, the lower stretch of Kenicott is covered in a thin layer of rock, often called a superglacial or surface moraine. To understand how all this rock made it onto the glacier, we must look up the valley. Kenicott is one of many glaciers that flow out of the mighty Wrangell Mountains, a range whose most majestic peaks are actually volcanoes. The Wrangells and neighboring St. Elias Mountains form the highest coastal mountain system on Earth, home to America's tallest volcanoes. They form an impassable wall for the winds of the Pacific. Heavy with moisture, those winds blanket the mountains in thick snow, eventually forming glaciers that snake out of the range in all directions. One of them is Kenicott Glacier. This is where it begins, pouring down the sides of Mount Blackburn. Now take a look at what is happening here. Combined rockfall and melting leads to the formation of rock piles along the glacier's edge, called lateral moraines. When two tributary glaciers come together and their lateral moraines join, a medial moraine forms. Kenicott has so many tributary glaciers that it's rich in medial moraines, running like pinstripes down its back. Eventually, all those moraines join forces near the end of the glacier, exacerbated by its rapid melt. Like most Alaskan glaciers, Kenicott is losing a lot of ice, but not from front to back. Instead, it is thinning, losing vertical ground. As it thins, all of that rock has nowhere to go, so it stays on the ice, creating a surface moraine that ranges between a few inches to 1 foot deep. In the next few days, we are going ice climbing, so we're out on the trail today getting a little sense of what we're in for. We are on the Root Glacier Trail, a 4-mile there and back trail that leaves from Kenicott Ghost Town and ends at the toe of Root Glacier. But wait, Root Glacier? If that is Kenicott, where is Root Glacier? It will all make sense in a bit, but in the meantime, it's a beautiful day for a hike in the Wrangell Mountains. As the trail turns left, we drop down onto the lateral moraine of Root Glacier. The sparse vegetation and lack of trees gives a sense of how long ago this was just a pile of rocky debris. Mother Nature sure makes quick work of new ground. Dead ahead, Root Glacier awaits. And we see a mysterious feature, a very clear boundary between clean white ice and debris-covered ice. Given everything we just learned about glaciers, try to piece together what this could mean and how Kenicott and Root Glacier are related. As with many things in life, to truly understand what's going on, you must take a big step back and look at the whole picture. Root Glacier is a tributary of Kenicott, and here is where the two join. That rocky hill next to the clean white ice isn't Kenicott Glacier. That is a medial moraine. We are looking at a medial moraine of Root Glacier. We are almost at the ice, and up above, Mount Donahoe answers a lingering question we have had during our time here in the Wrangels. Where did all that copper come from? The answer is in this line right here, a very distinct boundary between two different types of rock. But that is a story we will come back to. For now, our attention is fully focused on the ice we are about to reach, the same ice that we will venture much farther out on in the coming days. Right now, we just want a taste.
This is amazing. We are actually on top of the glacier right now. That's really amazing right there. Wow. What a beautiful hike, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I just want to keep on going. But unfortunately, we didn't bring our micro spikes. And to venture more into the glacier, that will be a little too dangerous. But we're actually thinking maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we join one of those tours to do ice climbing. That's something we have never done before, so.
Okay, so we're gonna head back. It's getting late. We gotta catch the shuttle from Kenicott to McCarthy. We're gonna book it, get to our shuttle.
And hopefully tomorrow or day after tomorrow, we can get to go ice climbing.
Today we are going ice climbing, one of the things we have not done in Alaska yet.
Just make sure they're nice and snug, and then do the outer laces.
Okay.
We'll put both on, and then we'll run some tests just to
Okay.
make sure they fit well.
Cool.
Let's try our shoes.
We are going ice climbing with St. Elias Alpine Guides, the same company that runs the mill tour here in Kenicott Ghost Town. In episode 37, we dove deep into the history of this town and why so much of it is still standing. Of course, the piece we didn't get to was that last burning question. Where did all the copper come from? That question will be answered today when we head back out.
Sweet, why don't you come right here? And why don't you just bounce on your toes for me a little bit? And just
Our guide is Nick, pretty much the perfect person to take us out on this trip.
probably an inch.
Yeah.
You think you could, would you be more comfortable sizing a half size down?
Nick is a lead guide with the company and a glaciologist and a gifted photographer and videographer. So not only are we in good hands, we are also with a fellow lover of all things photography and natural history.
So we'd be kicking into the ice with the front of our toes as well.
Yeah.
Cool, those seem great for you.
Yeah.
You can take those off.
We are back on the Root Glacier Trail, and we are lucky that we can so easily access a glacier to go ice climbing on. especially given where we are. We are in Wrangell-St. Elias Park and Preserve. At a staggering 13.2 million acres, it is the largest national park in the United States. One of the few places you can access the park without a whole multi-day hiking or bush plane expedition is right here on the outskirts of Kenicott Ghost Town. It is surreal walking out here. In episode 31, we hiked on Matanuska Glacier, but that was in the winter when a lot of ice is covered in snowpack. Here, we see every crack, every rivulet of meltwater, and all the texture and movement of the ice. It feels like walking on the moon. It is a dreary, rainy day, but that has its own charm in a way. We have to remember that these glaciers wouldn't exist without all the moisture that hits the mountain range, so we can't complain too harshly. It's important to find the beauty in whatever weather comes your way, and days like these bring a mystery that no sunny day can deliver.
We did not get lucky with this weather. It's raining. And it's windy, but at least the air's not very cold, so we don't feel like chilled, and we did a good job of putting on lots of layers. This is an adventure, all right. It's definitely not a bright blue sunny day, but we're gonna still make the most of it. So Nick, our awesome guide, went up to set the anchor. So in a few minutes here, we're gonna start climbing. I don't know if we're gonna climb the whole wall, but probably part of it. So.
Okay, so with this, clips here, back the one, and then you're going to come back again just through top here.
Oh, I got this. So that's what I'm. Right? Is that correct?
Nice.
It's supposed to be there?
Yep, just like that. Perfect. Sweet. And helmet. Okay. And let's walk down here. So this y'all's first time ice climbing, right?
Yes.
Nice. So with ice climbing, just like rock climbing, it's all in the feet, right? That's where we want to focus. The feet are also going to be the hardest to learn how to trust. We're going to want to rely on these because they feel more secure. But with the feet, what we do when we climb is we just want to kick in, like right from the knee, you know, just like this with our front points into the wall. And once they're in secure, you can kind of dip your heel a little bit to engage your secondary points.
Okay.
But these 2 points right here is what is going to hold you into the wall. And once you kick in, you want to kind of get your hips into the wall and get your weight over your feet.
Okay.
And then you can see, right, like my feet are kind of just at a 90-degree angle. So once I get good feet, like I can stand on it. Right. And another thing is you want to try to avoid, right, like doing this. I see people try to like do a weird rock climbing move, you know, all this stuff. But the only thing that's going to hold you in is just a good kick with the front legs. Okay. The best way to swing these in is what I do a little bit kind of a wrist, elbow, shoulder, all on a line. I come, I scratch my back, and I flick my wrist. Scratch my back, flick my wrist. And these picks here are weighted, so they're going to go in really easily. We don't need much. You just need maybe a couple millimeters of this pick to be in the ice to feel secure. Pick, pick, foot, foot, and then hips in, bring yourself up, pick, pick, foot, foot, hips in, bring yourself up.
Am I ready? Do I have a choice? I mean, I do, and I want to try it, so.
I'll have you tight on the rope, so whatever you want to do, I can lower you from any point, and I can blow you all the way to the top. When you get to the top, don't like go over the lip at the very top. You'll see the anchor. Just stop with your don't go farther than this, than your hips, over the top of the wall, and just then you lean back on the rope. Put the tools by your side like this, and then I'll lower you down. Awesome, and hold it just like that.
So not me. But I'm gonna give it a shot.
You can do it.
Puta, eso duele. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. You got me? Woo! Hey, mountains! Look at that view! Beautiful! Nice anchor. Okay, so I'm gonna lean back.
Yeah, you're gonna take your tools out first, put them by your side like you talked about.
Yep.
Alright, so then you're just gonna lean your chest back. Give the rope a couple of bounces. There we go.
How was it?
It was cool. Fun.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
You did great.
Thank you.
All right, I guess it's my turn.
Te toca.
Let's go. We'll just tie in like we're tying for climbing, which is your 2 hard points. So through here and then underneath your waist. And then it's just a figure 8, right? Follow through. Just like how you climb in the climbing gym, rock climbing. All the same. It's the best knot.
Feels
All
like
right,
it.
let me get you on belay. We're good to go.
All right. Here we go. I can see the top. All right. That was fun.
Oh yeah, dude. You crushed it.
Coming down is a lot more easy. That was amazing. A big workout. Like my hands are tired.
Yeah.
My legs feel tired too, but it's fun. Yeah, definitely.
With our first climb successfully under our belt, we head out for our second climb, and Nick thinks we are ready to take on a moulin. What is a moulin? Well, funny you should ask, because we are about to come across one in the making.
Yeah, so this is the blue pool. This is how a moulin starts, moulin being a French word for mill. This will eventually bore its way all the way to the bottom of the glacier. The bottom of the glacier here is 1,500 feet. So eventually it'll find that drainage. It's not quite a straight shot down. It kind of curves around a little bit, ends in a pretty thin little chute. But eventually it'll hit the bottom of the glacier and drain out in a day. And then we'll have a big moulin, which we can climb it.
Glacier water. It's water.
And it's cold. After a short hike across the glacier, we arrive at the moulin. This time, we'll get to see how Nick built an anchor, something we are both super curious about, especially as ice climbers' lives literally depend on how this is done.
What I'm doing here is I'm clearing away this top layer of kind of more rotten ice, getting the good stuff below. This is where my knot is going to be, my master point, so I'm clearing out a little area for that as well. As I do what's called a V-thread. A V-thread is basically a tunnel in the ice. So for a V-thread, what I'm doing is I'm taking this screw here. I'm going to drill into the ice at a 45-degree angle. Now I have a hole at a 45. Then on the other side, I'll put this screw in, dig a hole at another 45, and then those two screw holes are going to meet down in the middle, 21 centimeters down. And then I can take my cordelette right here and then string the cordelette through that hole and out. And that's a piece of protection. And off a V-thread, I could probably haul a semi-truck. That's how strong they are.
Wow.
Stronger than any rock gear. Dense, good, well-insulated glacier ice. And a V-thread's gonna hold me better than anything on the planet. So, at least that we can do while we're climbing. And then, well, I'll test them. Test my V-thread, roll it. Get down. Fantastic. I might as well blow the got what's called a V-threader here. This is how I'm going to go fishing for my cordelette when I put it inside of the tunnel. I have a little frayed end of the cordelette here, so it's easier for me to grab with my hook. I'm going to stick it into the tunnel here. You can see it pop out the other side. And then I'm going to grab it with the V-threader and pull it right out. Now, I'm going to tie these together. All I need here is what we call a very simple overhand knot, but nice and well dressed. No crosses in this knot, just nice and neat. Beautiful, perfectly dressed overhand knot. That's going to tie this cord together. And now I have one piece of protection, but I want to back up this anchor with two more pieces. And for those two more pieces, the V-thread is what is going to be it's the thing that's going to fail last. It's going to just last the longest. It'll take days to melt through to the bottom, especially in these conditions. So that's what I'm trusting the most. But of course, for a good redundant anchor, we want a couple more pieces in just for some extra security. I'm going to place some screws, making sure, like right, my direction is pulled is this way. Put these just a nice few inches apart. Screw it in. I like to screw it back at like a 10-degree angle. I'm also checking this core as it comes out, looking for air pockets in the ice. This is clearly a very dense, good core. I'm not seeing any pockets whatsoever. Perfect. I don't want to over screw it. What's holding in that screw is the threads. So if I over torque it, it might slip the threads. I want those to be nice and intact and in place. I'm going to put what's called a clove hitch right next to my knot right here. That clove hitch is basically going to keep this knot real close to this one so it doesn't get in the way while I'm trying to equalize my anchor. How I equalize the anchor is I'm going to clip this into here. I'm going to grab 3 strands, right? All go into each of my 3 pieces. Put in my master point carabiner. This is what I'm going to belay off of. And then kind of pull things through the V-thread. Right, you see how the rope can freely go through this piece and this piece? Right here it's locked, but that's okay. I can still adjust and equalize the weight equally to all of the pieces of the anchor, just having these 2 free. So, do that. Right, I'm in a good direction of pull. That's where we want to go. I feel great. Now I can tie my master point knot. Beautiful, just a simple overhand. Make sure that this gate is facing up, right? So it's not rubbing on the ground and screwing itself. Awesome, now we have a beautiful anchor.
That's where we're going. We're going into that hole.
This is my personal safety while I'm belaying you. I'm not going to fall in. I like to have it a length so I can at least get as best looking as I can. But yeah, we're ready to get on belay, start climbing.
Let's do it.
We both feel a little more confident now after our first climb. What we don't realize is that a moulin is a big step up from what we did before.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Off the ground. Where's that back? All right, a little lower. Stop.
How's that? Can you see that little cavern in there?
This?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see it? How far can you see into it?
Maybe 4 feet.
Okay, cool.
Wow. Okay, climbing.
All right, climb on.
Puta madre.
You got it.
I don't know. Okay. It's really hard. Ice.
Down here in the Moulin, we learned real quick the difference between this ice and the ice we were climbing on before. Glacial ice appears blue to our eyes until it is weathered. Then it will appear white. Before, we were climbing on softened, weathered ice. Now, we are trying to kick our crampons into dense, hard, unweathered glacial ice.
Okay, I can get out of this hole. Puta madre! Oh. Woo! All right. I'll teach you all the bad words. Okay, I can do this. It's not that far. Puta madre.
You fall.
I can't get my toes in.
Get the picks in first. Get secure up close to the wall, then get those toes in.
Okay, you got me? Here we go. Trying to get my hips in. All right. I know I'm not supposed to do that. Holy shit.
Got it.
Walk my way up.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay. That was a little harder.
You crushed it.
That's kind. I got out without having to rescue.
There you go. That's
So-
crushing it.
Woohoo! You made it.
Hell yeah.
Whoa.
All right, so my butt is sufficiently whooped. Now it's Jose's turn to take on the Moulin.
Fantastic. Looks good. Okay, this is not dipping at all. This is double back still. Crampons feel pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Okay, helmet is on nice and secure. Get this locked. Sweet. Nice clipped in. Looking good. Fantastic. Okay. Look good.
Alrighty.
All right. Kind of coming and start backing up. Okay. All right, start leaning back. All right, keep leaning back. It's not going to flip. Perfect.
Here we go. One more time. Round two. Woohoo! Here we go.
Yeah. Just stay soft when you want to stop.
Okay. Wow, this is so cool. Keep going. I'm gonna go all the way to the bottom. I'm almost there. Wow, this is so cool. A little more. A little more. Okay, I'm at the bottom. Woo! Awesome. All right, I'm gonna start coming up. Here we go. This is a lot more difficult. Woo! There you go. All right. How's that work out?
Yeah. You crushed it. Woo! Oh,
That was
good
awesome.
stuff.
I went all the way to the bottom, and it gets so narrow down there. I didn't have enough room.
You can like get it behind you.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Good stuff.
That was nice.
The hike back home across Root Glacier is an adventure unto itself. As Nick explains to us, traversing a glacier in the summer is completely different from doing it in the winter. In the winter, snowpack can hide crevasses and moulins from view, but in the summer, for the most part, you can see where the danger is. Still, we are grateful we're with him to make sure we don't stray somewhere that we shouldn't go. That's why it's well worth noting that if you plan to visit Kenicott and explore Root Glacier, we really recommend you go with St. Elias Alpine Guides, just to be safe, because glaciers really are not to be underestimated. We link to their glacier hike tour below. As we make our way home, a wonder of the natural world towers behind us. The Stairway Icefall is a 7,000-foot wall of glacial ice flowing in a chaotic jumble of crevasses and seracs down the side of Wrangell Mountain. If you can believe it, right now, we only see half of it. To the left of the icefall, Mount Donahoe calls out to us again, the answer to that lingering geological question written across its face in plain sight. And of course, that brings us to... Above this line is limestone, and below it is unusually copper-rich greenstone. Where they meet is called the contact zone. Between 150 to 125 million years ago, the ongoing subduction of the Pacific Plate beneath the North American Plate thrust the Wrangell Mountains into the air and forced mineral-rich fluids from both bodies of rock into fissures in the limestone right above the contact zone. When the fluids mixed, a chemical reaction occurred, depositing copper in those fissures, forming large veins of high-grade ore. The mines of Kenicott tapped into those veins and followed them back deep into the mountains. Prospectors soon learned that the trick to finding more copper was to look just above the contact zone. It's been a heck of a day, and we know just the way to celebrate. There is an eatery in this area that folks keep recommending, especially the rosemary garlic fries and pulled pork po' boy. So to celebrate a safe and successful day on the glacier, we dig in.
Burger looks amazing. Amazing.
It has been an adventure coming all the way out here to the Wrangell-St. The history and beauty of this place were well worth the nerve-wracking anticipation of the infamous McCarthy Road. But if you remember from episode 36, the road wasn't actually that bad for us. But we did drive it when it was dry. Today we are returning after a week of rain, and now it's a different story. As anticipated, after a week of rain, the McCarthy Road is a bit of a different beast. The potholes are bigger, the washboards are more jarring, but at least the gravel still provides great traction, even with a bit of mud. Bobby Bus is driving it like a champ, something we are very grateful for because the McCarthy Road was actually just a test run for our very last adventure in Alaska. It is now time for the grand finale, the biggest challenge yet, and by far our riskiest endeavor with our bus. Believe us when we say that the road we are about to attempt makes the McCarthy Road look like child's play. Join us as we take on Alaska's most dangerous highway, a single stretch of road that blazes past the Arctic Circle into the most remote wilderness of the North and ends at the Arctic Ocean. We can't think of a better way to end Season 1 with a bang than to reach the northernmost point we can drive to, which is also the very beginning of the Pan American Highway. That is, of course, if we can make it. Join us for the season finale of Season 1 Alaska next time on Aren't We There Yet? Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give us a like.
Subscribe to our channel.
Send us a comment below. And for exclusive content and a behind-the-scenes view of the Aren't We There Yet journey,
Join us on Patreon.
see you over on Patreon.